Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see, this time we are going to check fresh release from Eduard. And this is a limited edition kit. It's actually a dual combo as it's written here. It comes in 1/72 scale and it is named as a Fokker. So as you can see, it is dedicated to a quite famous Fokker aircraft. It's a D7 in German Air Forces, and this limited edition should be already available. That's why we have a commercial sample here, and we are going to check it together and see what is actually included here, why it should be interesting to all fans of World War I, and of course what we get as a standard package. So first of all, it is I would say quite unusual to get a dual combo limited edition for World War I aircraft, but then you get, let's say, to see the scale of this kit. It's 1/72 scale, so it will fit on the palm of the hand, and that actually explains the inclusion of two kits into one box. But that's not as simple as it sounds, because we should have some bonuses inside. And first of all, you can see comparison with my hand here, so it's a typical size for Eduard kits. Inside we have 6 marking options, so basically you will be able to copy 2 out of them, and that's really cool. It might be interesting for some others, and from what I'm seeing, there should be actually 8 of them. We have 6 here, but then we have 6 more on the other side, so 12 in total, because here, for example, you can see completely different markings, and you can also see the list of the features. So we have Fokker D7 inside, and you can copy early, mid, late, and even F version of this aircraft. We also have decals for 12 marking options, so you can copy 2 out of 12, and also Eduard Brossin engines. So it's not one engine, we have 2 engines included, as you can see, BMW and Mercedes D3 engines. And here you can see the markings which are inside. So let's open it. We are a bit over-focused on markings. We will be checking it in the assembly manual, so that's why we can open this box. It's a top-loading box. And you can see that sprues are packed into one plastic bag, actually, which is really surprising in my opinion. We have resin parts here, assembly manual. I guess there will be some decals, masks, and PE parts. But first we are going to start with plastic, so I need to open it. It's a resealable plastic bag, so it should be easy to open and reuse it again and again if you would like to store your sprues, for example. So because we have a double set of sprues, obviously we won't be checking the same stuff again and again. So for example, here we get 2 identical sets of frames, and I'm going to show you only one because it will be absolutely similar to the one I removed just a few seconds ago. So let's zoom in, and now you can see this sprues, and you can see that here we have landing gear wheels which come as a single piece parts. Maybe I will open the lenses a bit so that it will be brighter. And overall molding quality seems to be fine. We can zoom in as much as we can so that you can see all these parts in detail. Let's not forget that this is a 1/72 scale set. That's why these parts are so small. Here you can see comparison with my fingertip. And we have a lot of parts for the engine, surprisingly. So even in standard plastic kit you get engines, but with Brossin set you will be able to replicate a bit more features in comparison with original plastic. Here you can also see landing gear wheels and another version of the engine. And as I said, overall molding quality looks impressive. I mean, the size of this kit is so small that some parts are really tiny and they will require use of tweezers in order to get into the right spot. And next we go on with another pair of sprues. So here we have 2 frames. So basically I would say we get 4 kits in one box, but we get only internals enough for 2 aircraft. So basically you get 2 extra fuselage halves, and they might be handy in your future builds, maybe for some kit bashes or something else. It will be up to you, but that's really cool to have some spare parts out of the box. And here you can see that we have one-piece propellers, again several types of these bars for the landing gear. And next we continue with that's the lower wing which comes as a single piece part due to its scale, so you won't have to work with separate halves. Note that the tail section on the fuselage is molded separately, and that's something you will have to take care of, because you will have to pay attention to the alignment of these parts together, I mean fuselage and the tail fin. Next we have another pair of propellers here, top wing, another pair of fuselage halves, and 2 more propellers. That's too many propellers. We have 8 propellers in total on this connection between frames. So here you can take a look at overall picture, let's say. And let's flip it over. I would like to show what we have in the fuselage halves. So as you can see, there are guiding elements which will help you with the proper alignment. And the same can be found here in these 2 parts. We also have alignment guiding pins, which will help you with alignment, obviously, and that's really cool because size of the model might be small, but still sometimes it is a bit tricky to get these parts together in the right fashion, let's say. And next I'm opening the plastic bag with resin parts, so this one will be quite tricky to show. Parts are so small that we will have to zoom in as much as we can. So first of all, we have to start with these exhaust tubes here, and maybe it would be worth to show the engine blocks straight away. So first of all, I will show you this one. It would be cool to have, let's say, some mention which engine it is on the casting base. As you can see, it's just a part number, but here you can see that it comes as a single piece part. So basically it is ready to be assembled. There are a few small elements to combine with this main block, and here is another version of the engine. If the camera will focus, yeah, now you should see. So both are inline engines, and of course BMW was a bit more powerful, and that's why it was more precious for this aircraft. Everybody was I would say caring about these engines. Here we continue with another small element, one more here. And actually with BMW engines there are quite funny stories, because even when aircraft crashed, everybody was concerned whether this engine stayed intact or not. Nobody was paying attention to the full aircraft, to the whole aircraft, because they were just trying to salvage the BMW engine and install it onto the next wing frame if the current was damaged. I'm just trying to fit everything into the frame, so that's why I'm looking at the camera and aligning my actions. So as you can see, these resin parts are really tiny. As I said, we have 1/72 scale, so that's why you should be careful. Some of these elements are so thin that it would be better to use a saw and then some sharp knife. And again, just to remind you about the size of this engine, here is comparison with my fingertip, so be careful with them. And again, these parts deserve some careful painting as well, because it will bring the overall look of the model on the next level. And in such tiny size it will be still noticeable, because this aircraft had open cooling in any type, early, mid or late, if you prefer. So next we continue with P frets. So here we get 2 P frets, and from what I can see they are absolutely identical. So I guess I can show you only one. Here it is pre-painted P fret. And as you can see, we have parts not only for the cockpit but also for some external features, and that's really crucial because some of these features cannot be replicated in plastics. That's why Eduard decided to resort to some P parts, which will be a bit more up to scale and they will look natural on the model. But that's not all, we also have another set of P frets, and here you can see it is written that we have them 4 engines. And what is even more interesting, because these are dedicated for each engine. As you remember, we have 2 different engines, so that's why we have 2 different P frets. Here they are, and of course they're unpainted, so they will be easy to cover with whatever paint shade you prefer. And just do not forget about primer first and then applying the paint over it. Next we have another plastic bag with masks, so just give me a second to open it as well. These are pre-cut masks, and from what I can see we have masks only for landing gear views. That's pretty much all. So at least landing gear views will get the proper paint finish, while all other stuff concerning camouflage and markings is replicated with help of decals. So we have two decals, I would say two bags with decal sheets. And of course both are printed in Eduard, and from what I can understand, first plastic bag is dedicated, let's say, to the main symbols, while the second one is dedicated to camouflages and lozenges. So just give me a second to remove the first set of these decal sheets and we will check everything together. So here it is. I do not see any segmentation, by the way. I can say it straight away. So here it is. We zoom out a bit. Let's close the camera. Yes, now you should be able to see that here we have even this checkerboard camouflage for the fuselage. So in case you don't want to mess with these checkers on the fuselage with masks, you get it in form of decals. And of course all this stripe camouflages can be also replicated with masks if you prefer, but it will take a bit more time. And again, printing quality looks nice, so I don't have anything to complain about here. And one more decal sheet is here. So this one is smaller. Here we have stencils and again checkerboard for tail surfaces. Let's zoom in a bit. So now you should be able to see, and printing quality looks impressive. I mean, this is a 1/72 scale set, so all these symbols are really tiny. Now I'm going to open the second plastic bag. Here we have decals for camouflage and lozenges, so just give me a second. And recently Eduard revised whole lozenge camouflages. So as far as you can see, they're absolutely identical. So we have 4 color lozenge for the Fokker. So I'm going to show you only one decal sheet. They carry the same set of symbols or set of decals, let's say. So here it is. And as you can see, it looks truly impressive because it basically covers whole aircraft. And maybe you won't be needing to paint anything on your aircraft because you will be covering it completely with these decals. Just be careful by applying them into the right spots. As you can see, there are necessary cutouts, so it would be really important to get them into the right position before. So next we continue with assembly manual, and as you can see here, it is slightly different from what we are used to see in Eduard kits. Usually it's just a short history note here, and this one comes with full-fledged article. As you can see, it is supplied with some black and white photos, so that's something interesting to read about. And from what I can see, it's written only in English, so 2 pages worth. And here we continue with parts map. Also we have these 2 separate sets for each of the engine, and next we have paint chart. And of course assembly process starts with the cockpit, so there we will be working with some P parts, and then we go on with engine. So it will be really important because you have to decide which engine you would like to build first, and that will actually define the choice of the marking options you can replicate with such build. So pay attention to this. This will be really important. And we also have to choose, the engine choice will be important because we will have to cut off the original plastic and replace it with PE parts. I guess it will be on the next page, so just give me a second. And no, first we install these subframes in the engine bay area, then we join fuselage halves together with an engine. And here already you can see the choice of the markings you can replicate with such combos. And next we have these PE covers, which will be replacing the original plastic. Obviously they're thinner than plastic, so they will be more up to scale. In my opinion, that's a really important feature in 1/72 scale because it will be noticeable. because this top section is visible on the finished model as well. Next, again, we cut off some more plastic here. You will have also to drill some holes in case you choose these 3 markings. So again, be, I would say, attentive to these minor things. They will be important in this aircraft. And we choose out of 3 versions of the propeller. That's also quite interesting thing. And for the rigging, it should be replicated only in the tail area and also in the landing gear area. So that's quite simple stuff to do for some modelers, not for me, because I'm not that experienced with the rigging. Nevertheless, here we continue with markings. So I would say the biggest share of the markings come from 1918. For example, these 2 aircraft. Here we continue with another pair from the same era or from the same year. And if you would like to learn more about some of these aircraft, you can find the really interesting article in recent Eduard info. So just go to their website, download this small magazine and read about this aircraft and their pilots. There are some, I would say, unbelievable stories behind these marking options. So you will be really amazed what happened with this aircraft. Here we go on with red aircraft from France, July 1918. One more from October 1918. And we also have Lozengy application scheme, so you have to apply all these rip tapes on the wings and just pay attention to the right position of these parts, because it will be really important to get the more or less, I would say, realistic appearance of your aircraft. So all in all, we get nice small copy of the famous Fokker fighter aircraft from World War I. It should be already available, but that's a limited edition, so it will be, I would say, sold out quickly, and it's better to hurry up if you would like to get one. And of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this release. Do not forget to write it here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And I will see you in the next video review as usual. Thank you for joining me today, and bye!